Sylvia here, and today we're talking liquid lipsticks. I have been loving liquid lipsticks lately. I find myself pretty much reaching only to liquid lipsticks these days because I like the way that you can kind of draw your lips in a certain way. You can manipulate like the shape and size of your lips, and they usually stay a lot better than regular lipsticks. So I have about 10 different brands in my collection, so I would say I'm pretty much a lipstick connoisseur at this point. I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion about all of them, and I will be swatching select colors from each of the brands. So you better give me a subscribe and a like because my lips are going to be chapped as fuck after this. Because I'm putting myself through something, you can do me the favor of just hitting that like or subscribe. I'm not even being picky, one or the other, or both. Okay, I'm gonna start from like high end and work my way down to drugstore. So for each liquid lipstick, I'm gonna be judging basically on 5 criteria I think that is most important to liquid lipstick. Number 1, staying power. Number 2, color transfer. Number 3, if it's drying for the lips. Number 4 is brush precision. And number 5 is the color range. So let's start off by talking about ones that I'm pretty sure you guys have heard about. They're kind of really hyped up right now. They are the Smashbox Always On liquid lipsticks. I have pretty much every single color of the collection, so maybe that will help you guys figure out how I feel about these things. Okay, so these little babies, I mean, these are like my 5 favorites right now, but we'll talk color after. Staying power wise, it stays really well. I would give staying powder very strong. I can eat meals, any type of meal, through these lipsticks, and they will, for whatever reason, completely stay on. I really don't have to touch up if I wasn't a perfectionist. I can go out after I eat and look just fine, but because I'm a perfectionist, I just like to, you know, fill in a little bit more, but it's really not necessary. Their staying power is really strong, which I find really strange because bringing me to the next point is the color transfer. These do transfer color. They never really completely like stick on your lips throughout the whole, you know, let's say 8 hours that I wear it. By the end of 8 hours, it'll still color transfer. If I were to kiss myself or someone else, whatever it may be, there is going to be color transfer. But what's weird to me is that no matter how much the color transfers, it never gets rid of the fact that it's super opaque and still there on your lips. So the color transfer, I would say, is high. However, it does not affect the staying power of this liquid lipstick. Now, is it drying? I would say that it is medium to not so drying. It's definitely not the most drying liquid lipstick that I own, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's super hydrating or anything like that. I don't typically wear a lip balm under it. I don't need to. I find that it is okay. By the end of the day, it does look a little bit crackly and dry, but not anything major where it's like you look at me and you're like, oh, her lips are dusty looking. The brush precision on this, I would say, is more on the lower scale. You know, it's not super precise. The brush itself is kind of fat and I have thinner lips, so it's hard for me to kind of just really get into the corners and stuff without somehow getting it outside the line. And it does take me a little bit more time to really perfect my line and perfect the evenness of it. However, the color range is phenomenal. What I love most about this range is that the colors are so unique. They're definitely different from any other lipsticks I've tried. So the 5 that I like the most are Bang Bang, which is a really nice bright red. I love that it's just so vibrant. It really makes my skin look bright. I also really like Chill Zone because it's so unique. It's this gray color that I have literally never seen anywhere else before, and you'd be surprised like thinking that, you know, how could you wear gray lipstick? But I don't know, I really like the look of it. I think it's different, super unique. Blast Off is just a really great pink. Baja Bound is like a cult favorite. A lot of people really like Baja Bound. It's a really flattering color for really almost anyone, universally flattering pretty much. And then the last one I really like is Big Spender, which is like a purpley pink. It just looks a little bit different from any other color I like, and I think it matches my skin tone very well. Okay, I'm sorry if you guys hear this like jingling noise. It's my dog. She apparently really wants to run around right now because you guys haven't seen her since she got shaven down. So when she grew in her adult coat, she kind of got really matted, so we had to shave her down, but she looks really cute right now because it's like kind of grown in a bit. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Why don't you want to say hi, my friends? Meow, go, you little Poporino. You're such a little Poporino. Yes you are, yes you are, yes you are. Next is the one that I'm wearing right now. It is the YSL Vinyl Cream. A notable factor to this is that unlike the other two, this one actually is a more shiny shiny. As you can see, very much shiny. It does not at all dry matte. The other two do dry matte. So if you're looking for a liquid lipstick that is more, you know, shiny, juicy, voluptuous, then maybe the YSL Vinyl Creams will be for you. The staying power, however, is not that great. Definitely does not stay on throughout a meal. So I would say staying power is low. Color transfer, there's a bit of color transfer. If I touch my lips right now, like you're getting a little bit of color onto it. It doesn't really dry out my lips at all. I mean, it's not a matte formula, so it doesn't dry it out. However, I do feel like my lips are a little bit more tight by the end of the night. Not dry, but just tight. The brush precision, I should have chosen a different word and not precision, because clearly I can't say that. The brush precision on this is actually really good. I really like the brush that they have. It has a super pointy tip, so you can really guide it along your lip line, and it's smaller, so you don't, you know, for thin lip girls like me, it doesn't get all over the place, and it's really easy to apply. I don't need like concealer around it or anything like that. I can just apply it with the brush itself, and it takes me way less time than the other ones. And the color range, not that great. I would say color range is low. I mean, it's just a lot of really basic colors like pinks and reds, to be honest, and I find that they don't really match the swatch that is given on here. For example, I'm wearing this color and it looks nothing like this swatch color right here. So I do find that the colors do come out a bit more reddish toned, and they start to kind of look similar to each other. So color range, not that great. However, I should mention that it is called a lip stain, so it does stay on your lips a little bit. When it does wear off, you still have a little bit of color, so it doesn't look too ratchet, like for example when your matte lip color is like half on and half off. So the next one we're going to talk about is the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick. The Kat Von D one is also very super, I have like fur. The Kat Von D one is also very much super hyped, but to me, I don't know if it's maybe because my expectations were high because it was super hyped, but it didn't really, I don't know, meet what? So the staying power on that, I feel like, is more on the lower side. I ate a meal, and by the end of my meal, it was completely gone. There was like nothing left on my lips pretty much. So I don't know, people say that they really like it, but I didn't feel like it stayed on my lips like at all. So I don't know. Yeah, it can last through drinks for sure, but not through my meal that I was eating. The color transfer is pretty much none. It does go on your lips, stays there, doesn't really transfer anywhere. It is a little bit drying. I would say it's just slight bit more drying than the Smashbox ones. It's not like, I don't know, dire on my lips, but sometimes I do put a little bit of a lip balm underneath if my lips are already feeling kind of dry that day. The brush precision is pretty good. I think I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's a smaller brush, it's easier to maneuver, and there's not too many fuzzies on it, so it doesn't, you know, go outside your lips. The color range seems to be pretty good. I mean, it's not as vast as Smashbox in my opinion, but I do have to say that the colors that she does have are very much on point. They're not like weird undertoned colors that no one can wear. They are pretty wearable colors. Alright, next I have Lise Watier. Not a lot of people know about this one, I think. It's the Lise Watier Baiser Satin. It's probably French, and my French is really bad. When I first got these, I was actually pretty obsessed with them because they're so opaque, like so bright and opaque, that it took me one coat to just get it looking real hot. But as I started to find more and more other liquid lipsticks, these ones became a little bit lower on my list, but let's go through it. So the staying power on this, I would say, is a medium. It does stay if you eat very light things, but you will find the middle will kind of come out a little bit. It's not going to stay 110%. It does take a little bit of touching up afterwards. The color transfer is really high. It doesn't really ever dry out to be super matted or stayed on there. I would say it's more of a cushiony, like suede matte. It's not completely matte, so it still gives a little bit of shine on your lips if that's what you're looking for. Is it drying? I don't really think so. I would say that the drying factor is low. Brush precision, I really like it because it's not one of those like super fuzzy hairy brushes, so it's like sometimes the hairs get everywhere and they just go off your lips, but this one is very much streamlined, pointy, so I would say the brush precision is like a 8.5 out of 10. The color range is definitely limited. They don't have that many colors, and most of them are just different shades of pink. Moving on, Inglot. I feel like for Canadians, Inglot is not really an accessible or as known brand, but they have some really great things that are totally under the radar. So they have these ones, which are a matte liquid lipstick. I would say it's very much matte, super matte, very matte. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's like 11 matte. However, the staying power is a medium, I would say. You definitely have to reapply after eating. Color transfer, though, is very good. It has almost no color transfer at all once it's completely dry, so if you want to kiss boys and have great lipsticks, then this is the one. I do, however, unfortunately find it drying, so on the drying scale, I give it pretty damn drying. Brush precision is about, I would say like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. Again, not too fluffy, which I can appreciate, but it is kind of a one-dimensional shape, so you don't really have a pointed side for you to like get into the crevices and whatnot. It's just one round shape. The color range is not that big, however, they have super unique colors, never a color that is too alike to another. It isn't just like different shades of pink, like they actually have different type of colors out there that are very, very different from each other. So if you are looking for more different colors, maybe check out their color range. Next, we're talking Colourpop. So the one I have specifically is actually from the Gen M collection. It is Doughy, and I really, really like the color. I actually love the color of this one, but there are some downsides I found with Colourpop. Unfortunately, I'm so sad to be saying this, but this is the truth and the honest truth. Staying power is a medium. I would say it definitely stays when you're drinking. However, if you're eating a bigger meal, you will have to touch up. The color transfer is actually really, really low. The color stays on pretty well and doesn't really transfer that much, which is nice. However, I found this really drying. I don't know, it was just super drying on my lips just after a couple hours and made my lips really shrivelly looking, which is like not cute. Brush precision is similar to the Inglot one, where it's just kind of a one-shaped circle all the way around, no pointed edges, no slanted edges that you can really try to get into there. So I would give this like a 6 or 7 kind of precision. And the color range, I mean, with Colourpop, they have a bunch of different colors and different collections, so I'm not quite familiar with all of them, but I do find that Colourpop has quite a wide range of colors. Alright, so moving more into drugstore products, I have these two from NYX. One is the NYX Liquid Suede and the other is the NYX Cosmic Metals. So I'm just going to kind of compare them side by side since they are by the same company and are similar. So with the NYX Liquid Suede, I would say the staying power is like the medium to higher side for sure. I was able to eat meals and it would stay throughout the day, which was nice. Unfortunately, it does transfer color a lot, and when it does transfer the color, you can visibly see that it's taking the color off your lips and it's not as opaque anymore. I find it slightly drying. I would say like medium to moderate drying. I'm not a huge fan of the brush because it's a little bit too flexy for me. I need something like hard. That's what she said. I need something that will give me more precision and be able to like, you know, really press into it. This one is kind of too flexy, doesn't really allow me to line my lips properly. However, NYX probably has one of the best color ranges out there. They have the coolest colors like this dark blue. They have a purple that I really, really like as well. So if you're into like really, really cool colors, definitely check NYX out. They have tons of really cool colors to go through. So on the topic of colors, what I think I love about them is that they even introduced the Cosmic Metals, which are metallic liquid lipsticks, which is so cool. Like I'm super into metallic things right now, and metallic lipstick is like pretty cool on my chart. So color range, definitely like a 10 out of 10 for sure. However, the staying power I would say is fairly low for this. It didn't really stay that well, unfortunately, and I did have to do a lot of reapplying to really keep that color opaque and very metallic. It transfers color really easily, just like the other NYX one I talked about, when you can feel it or see it physically come off of you and transfer onto something else. The Cosmic Metal ones are not as drying as the suede ones because I guess they aren't matte, so it is a little bit more like liquidy and definitely not as drying. The brush precision is like so bad, unfortunately. The brush is so furry that you just can't really precisely get anything. It's just furry and all over the place. So what I do like to do is use some sort of other liquid lipstick first so that I can line it properly, and then put this on top because this one is not lining your lips for shit. Okay, then we have the Maybelline Vivid Matte Liquid. Staying power is so low, like so low. It just doesn't stay at all. It looks good while it's on, but don't expect it to be staying. Color transfer, it color transfers a lot, unfortunately. I can wipe it off and it'll be gone. Like it doesn't stay on very well at all. It's not even really that matte. It's more of like a suede matte. I think that's why it doesn't stay on as well, because it's like creamy. However, it's not drying on the lips, which is nice. So if you're just doing like a couple hours outside, this is great for you. The precision on the brush is mediocre. It's not easy to evenly apply this, I find. It came off kind of like uneven and I had to go over it a couple times. So I would say the brush is like a 6 out of 10. Sorry. And the color range is not that vast, so don't be expecting too much. I would say like this is great for a beginner kind of thing, or if you don't really want super staying liquid lipstick, so you want the look and feel of a liquid lipstick. Like this I'll actually wear for like photo shoots and stuff like that when I want to change my lip color easily, because it gives me like that full look. However, I can easily take it off and put on another lipstick, whereas something like the Smashbox one, it literally takes you a year and a half to take that lipstick off. Even in the shower, when I'm showering, this lipstick will not come off. I need to, after getting out of the shower, use a makeup wipe to take that shit off. So that's the difference between those two. So last but not least, I have the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Gloss. They say it's a gloss. It really is not a gloss. It is a liquid lipstick. It is very much opaque, which is what I appreciate about it. And it's cheaper, which is nice. So the staying power is not that bad. I would say like it's a medium. It does stay, but you will need to touch it up a little bit if you're eating a heavy meal. Color transfer, it does transfer quite easily. However, I don't really feel like it affects too much of what is on your lips. It still keeps it on your lips, but when you do touch it, there is a bit of transfer on there, so don't be putting shirts on there. Drying, I did not actually find that drying at all, so I would say not that drying. The precision on this brush is nice because it has a little more pointed end. I would give it like 8 out of 10. It's still a little bit furry, so you can get furry bits all over the place, but it does have a more shaped brush so that you can kind of get in there. Color range, not that great, just very basic colors and not very many of them. Again, a good beginner one. I really like this purple because it's a little bit different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you guys have any questions, leave them below. And if you actually have any liquid lipstick recommendations that you want me to try, definitely let me know. I will try it out because I am obsessed. So bye for now. I will talk to you guys again very soon. See ya! Hello guys, I'm going to be taking you through some of my fall outfits that I wore for Paris Fashion Week. So on the first day, I had a free day to myself, so I did quite a little bit of shopping. I went for a super comfortable outfit, so just a loose skirt, a loose sweater, and I kind of just tied all together with a leather jacket and booties.